Welcome to The Explainer. So today we are diving into a really fascinating source. It sets up this huge showdown between three popular nut butters, all in a battle for who's best for your blood sugar. And right off the bat, the source makes this incredibly bold claim. It says there's a common nut butter out there that can drop your blood sugar faster than some actual medications. And get this, it's super cheap. So that's the big question for today, right? Which one is it? Which nut butter supposedly holds this incredible power? Okay, so here's our game plan for this whole showdown. We're going to look at a pretty controversial claim, then we'll introduce our three contenders: the underdog, peanut butter, the scientist, cashew butter, and the champion, almond butter. And then we'll get to the final showdown and the rules. So let's be clear, the source is making a massive claim here. This isn't just about picking a snack. It's positioning one of these as a revolutionary tool for managing diabetes. It even says it can repair insulin receptors right down at the cellular level. That's a huge deal. All right, first up in the ring, we have our underdog, good old peanut butter. The source argues that even though it's cheap, it packs a serious punch. And its secret weapon, it all comes down to a very specific amino acid. And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this direct comparison. The source points out that peanut butter has a glycemic index of just 14, which is incredibly low. Almond butter is 0, but when you look at the cost difference and this key compound, arginine, the source starts to build a case for peanut butter having this unexpected edge. So you might be wondering, how does this actually work? Well, according to the source, it's all about this amino acid, arginine. Apparently, it converts into nitric oxide in your body. Now, nitric oxide is known to dilate your arteries, which improves blood flow. And here's the kicker. The source claims this whole process boosts insulin delivery to your cells by a whopping 41%. Wow. Okay, just look at that difference on the chart. It's not even close. The source really emphasizes this huge gap in arginine content, arguing that this is a major reason why peanut butter has such a powerful effect on blood vessels and getting that insulin where it needs to go. So it's like a 1-2 punch from peanut butter, according to this source. You've got the arginine working on the delivery system, the blood vessels, but then there's also this unique fiber that supposedly ferments in your gut and turns into something called butyrate. And that is claimed to boost your insulin sensitivity by another 27%. Pretty cool, right? Okay, let's bring in our second contender, cashew butter. And this one, well, the source says it works in a completely different way. It's described as being almost like a pharmaceutical, which is a pretty wild way to think about a nut butter. And here's its secret weapon. These things called anacardic acids. Now, what the source claims is that these compounds, which are unique to cashews, literally get in the way of enzymes that break down carbs. It's like they put up a roadblock, stopping sugar from even getting into your bloodstream. It's said to mimic how certain diabetes drugs work. But wait, there's more. The source also talks about copper. Get this. Just 2 tablespoons of cashew butter apparently have 178% of the copper you need for a whole day. And you're probably thinking, so what? Well, the argument is that all this copper supercharges your cells, helping them burn glucose for energy way more efficiently. It's like upgrading your body's engine at the cellular level. And here's the proof in the pudding, so to speak. The source claims that when you add cashew butter to something super high carb, like white rice, it slashes the glycemic response by 44%. That's huge. It's presented as this powerful shield against a big sugar spike. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. Let's meet the final contender, the one the source calls the undisputed champion, almond butter. So why is almond butter the supposed champion? The source gives 2 massive reasons. First, it claims almond butter has a glycemic index of absolute 0. 0, meaning in theory, it can't spike your blood sugar. And second, it supposedly has this special form of vitamin E that goes in and actively repairs damaged insulin receptors. That's not just managing, that's fixing. And again, just look at this chart. The difference in vitamin E is just staggering. The source argues this isn't a small thing, it's absolutely crucial. The claim is that this protects 47% more of your precious insulin-producing cells. That's a massive defensive advantage. And here's another key advantage the source points out. It's about prebiotic fiber. Apparently, the fiber in almond butter tells your liver to chill out and produce less glucose overnight by 34%. And for anyone trying to manage their blood sugar, you know that lowering that morning fasting number can be one of the toughest battles. And it doesn't stop there.
The source also claims a 31% reduction in that really dangerous visceral belly fat over 6 months. And it directly connects losing that deep fat to better insulin sensitivity and just, better metabolic health all around.
Okay, so we've seen all three contenders. We've heard their strengths. How does the source actually rank them? And maybe more importantly, what are the rules to actually make this work?
This tail of the tape really lays it all out, doesn't it? You can see each one has its own special move. Peanut butter has arginine for blood flow. Cashew butter has that enzyme blocking power. And almond butter is all about cellular repair. But in the end, the source gives the crown to almond butter, really zeroing in on its claimed ability to both repair receptors and tackle that stubborn fasting glucose. Now, this part is absolutely critical. The source makes it super clear that it's not enough to just pick the right nut butter. It's all about how you eat it. And there are some pretty strict rules of engagement here. You have to avoid added sugars and oils. You've got to be careful with peanut butter. And you can't go crazy. Don't eat more than 2 or 3 tablespoons a day. And hey, to make this all a bit easier, the source even gives you some practical ideas, like this super simple smoothie recipe. It's a great way to get your 2 tablespoons in without accidentally adding a bunch of sugar from, say, jelly on toast, which would totally defeat the whole purpose. And that's pretty much how the source wraps things up, with a call to action. It frames this whole nut butter showdown as your first step, your starting line for taking control of your health in a really natural way. So that leaves us with a pretty big final thought, doesn't it? I mean, regardless of what you think about these specific claims, it really makes you wonder, if a simple food choice could potentially have such a powerful effect, what other pantry prescriptions are just sitting there in our kitchens waiting to be discovered?